Hello and welcome to Free Jacks in 5, a series of brief interviews where you get to know your favorite New England players. I'm Dallin Stanford, former US Eagle and current World Rugby commentator. And in this episode, we spend 5 minutes with Spencer Krueger, one of the young American props aged 23, set to feature in Major League Rugby 2021. Spencer, no relation to Freddy Krueger.
No relation.
Okay, good. We'll save some of that info for the trivia. Let's start with a bit about your background into where you grew up and kind of what sports you got stuck into during high school.
Yeah, so I'm from Arlington Heights, Illinois, about 22 miles-ish from downtown Chicago, Northwest. I played football my whole life, and in high school I wrestled a bit, 3 years. Great transfer over for specifically props.
Now, you also were heavily involved in the community, which I'd love to hear. What sort of volunteering and things did you do?
Growing up, I volunteered at a senior center that's right by my house here. Did a lot with that, helping out the old people and doing stuff like that.
That's awesome. And then specifically about rugby, who invited you to try out or how did that come about?
How I got involved with rugby was actually through youth football. They were taking, team photos one day, and my youth club coach, Paul Bergman, was handing out flyers. And one of my parents picked one up and they said that I should do it. And, I didn't want to at first because I didn't know anybody, but, they got me out and that's how I got involved. That was in 7th grade. So I was about 12, 13.
Yeah, well, that's so great that your parents are the ones. Normally it's the other way around. You're like, I want to try this. And parents are like, oh, I don't know, it might be a bit too dangerous. But it was the other way around for you.
I played football all my life and everything. So, I think you should try this. You're not doing anything in that, youth. It was a spring sport. So I wasn't doing anything in the spring. So they said,
And let's move across. So then you carry on playing. You get to college at Ohio State University. Can you give us some of your favorite moments representing them in the game of rugby?
So, it's, definitely more recently we went to, I played a bit of sevens. And we were able to go down to Arizona, and we took 5th place in the sevens down there for the collegiate nationals. That was really exciting. And actually, we were able to go down to Bermuda too and play in that tournament. And those were just two real, exciting experiences for me.
So rugby, is such a great tool to use as a passport to travel the world. And I know you got some amazing experiences. What other places have you been to through rugby?
Well, youth, I played for the Illinois team, and we were able to go to England and Wales, been to Bermuda. More recently, I spent 2 months in New Zealand, in Christchurch.
Wow. Tell us a bit about that experience, because again, that's home to the most famous rugby nation in the world.
So I spent 2 months down there with the Crusaders, the International Academy. So I got some training with Grant Keenan, great coach down there. And then they put me with a club, Marist Albion, and we were able to take 5th place in the competition that year. So it was, we played some pretty good teams down there. It was a great learning experience.
Yeah, I was going to say, excellent time to hone the skills. And then you also spent time with the Chicago Lions under Coach Dave Clancy. So what elements do you think you learned from the Lions in their setup?
I was only able to play, a handful of matches with them. But really, my biggest takeaway from the Lions was Dave giving me the opportunity to play at that kind of next level. Because at that point, I played, the college level and everything. But at that point, I hadn't played at the men's level. So it was, gave me that opportunity to see what that next step looked like and how the game sped up a little bit and stuff like that.
And speaking of speeding up, how was that inaugural MLR college draft experience for you last year?
Yeah, that was real exciting. It was, I was living with my roommates at the time who were all Ohio State rugby players. So we all, went down to the living room and watched it on the TV. Coach came over, Tom Rooney. We all watched it together. So that was a real exciting experience somehow, I'll never forget.
All right, let's get into a couple of favorites of yours. Okay. Favorite food?
Favorite food is probably steak.
Lovely. Favorite movie?
Braveheart.
Legendary.
Great movie.
Watched it like 80 times. Give me a rugby player that you admire.
I like watching Tyke Furlong.
And because you spent time in New Zealand as an added extra, is there a favorite Kiwi player that you like to watch?
I'll probably stick with the props. I liked when I was down there, I got to see Owen Franks practice a little bit, and that was pretty cool to see him because he's not one of the bigger props, so it was kind of cool to see how he plays in scrums and everything. Yeah,
legendary player. Do you have a favorite quote?
Yeah, there's one that my wrestling coach used to say that kind of stuck with me. It was I think it was from Einstein. It was, definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. That always kind of stuck with me.
So you chose to scrum in the forwards?
Yeah.
Jokes. Yeah. Now we have obviously Kyle Sequeira, the Eagle, at the Free Jacks, who has an unbelievable hairstyle. He changes it weekly. What's your favorite hairstyle?
I can't say I have a favorite one. The mullet's pretty cool. I don't think I could pull one off, but
We will all be wearing the little fake mullets you can buy at freejacks.com from the Carl Sequeira. Listen, Spence, I want to thank you so much for joining us on Free Jacks in 5. And fans can't wait to see you scare opponents in MLR 2021. They can keep updated with their New England side at freejacks.com. And let's ride.
Let's ride.